Okay, welcome back. I am going to show you a trick here. I don't have a full rosary here, but I've got kind of a makeshift situation going on where I have the centerpiece, the bottom portion of your rosary, which has the 2 Our Fathers and 3 Hail Marys. And then I've already started the top portion of the cross. But I'm going to show you what happens when you have your piece that you burned off from your center to make the horizontal part of your cross, if this piece is too short. So let me show you what I mean by too short. So here we are, we're ready to make the horizontal part of our cross. Okay, this is the top portion I've already done. So this was 5 wraps here, okay? So to make the horizontal part, remember we go underneath with the piece that we burned off from the center. I'm going to keep an eye on these ends, but remember we make an overhand knot. We take the left side, cross over the right, and tuck it underneath. I'm going to hold the 2 ends of my cord together so I make sure I have the same distance on either side, and I pull that, slide that knot down. Okay, I make sure I tighten that up. And then I'm going to try, and you're going to see it's not going to work, so just watch for just a minute. But if I go to try, I can see these are really short. Do you see how short those are? But I could try to make a knot. Let's see if we can do it. I already know that I can't. I've set this up so it will work, so I can show you what to do. Okay, so I get really close down here, and I'm going to be making 4 wraps. So 1, 2, 3, and oh boy, 4. I can't even hardly get all the way around the 4. So I certainly don't have enough room here to be able to tuck underneath. Okay? So this is not, at this point, you would be going, oh my goodness, I can't finish this rosary unless I have more cord somewhere else. Okay? But you can. In most cases, you can. So I'm going to show you what to do. So we're going to take it off of that cord. Okay? So I just untied that overhand knot and took it off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily just put this aside, the main part of my rosary. I'm working with the little cord that didn't work. Sounds kind of sad. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make the first knot off of the main rosary. So watch what I do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to have just enough, probably a little over 1 inch here, dangling off. And I'm going to make the one side of the horizontal part of the cross. So it's a 4 wrap knot. So I cross over, make my X. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can see I don't have a very long cord here, little tail. It's about a little over 1 inch. But I have enough to tuck underneath. Okay, so when I slide this off, I want to make sure I don't have a lot of room here. I want to try to bring this knot down, but I just want enough room for me to be able to hold on, to be able to pull it tight later on, okay? So I'm going to just gauge right there is where I want my knot to go. So I'm going to push the little knot guy down there to right up against my thumb. He's my anchor, remember? So I'm going to tighten this way down, really tight. Remember, it's 4 wraps. We're doing the one side of the horizontal part of the cross. So I just have this little bit, just enough to hold on. Okay, and to tighten it down later once we attach it back onto our cord, onto our rosary. Okay, so I'm pulling really tight. Remember, we push from behind, pulling on the right cord, not the left. And I'm twisting whenever I need to and making sure everything's tight and lined up. So there we go. Okay, now I'm going to bring back my rosary. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tie this on with the overhand knot. And I'm going to tie that overhand knot so it's right up against this knot. So watch what I do. So I bring it underneath. I tie the knot like we do, so cross left over right, tuck underneath. But when I pull this knot tight, I'm going to make sure that I'm keeping an eye on this barrel knot I just made, and I want this knot to be right up against that barrel knot. That's the goal. Has to be as tight against that barrel knot as possible. Okay? Tight up against the barrel knot as possible. So I'm just pushing that knot in, and I'm pulling on, in this case, the left-hand side. Just depends on which way you went with your knot. Tight, tight, tight. Like that. Okay? And remember, it doesn't matter if you're slid down a little bit, that's okay. You know, that part doesn't matter right now. What matters is that this barrel knot you made is up tight against the overhand knot. Then you're going to go ahead, I'm going to flip this here so I can use this other side that when I tied the overhand knot, I've got this other side that I'm going to be making another barrel knot, remember? So I'm going to flip it so I can put it up here. Going to have just enough room for me to wrap 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And look, I've got enough room to finish this off. So I can tuck him underneath. I've got just enough. Tuck it underneath, and I can pull it off. And I can pull him really, remember I'm gonna move him first. I'm just gonna slide all those rows over first before I think I might have messed up my knot. Let's see if I can recover this. I got my rows out of line here. Let's see if I can fix him. I did. Okay, I got my rows back in line. So remember, you gently take your 2 fingers and slide it all the way over to the center, and then you're gonna slowly coil, push from behind, and pull on this right side. So coil, push from behind, pull on the cord. And then every once in a while, I pull the knot towards the center. Remember, we want everything to converge to that center. That's what makes the cross good and tight and solid, okay? But now I had enough room to make that barrel knot. Does that make sense? So the first one we make off of the rosary, then we tie an overhand knot, keeping everything close to that overhand knot, and then we make the other side, and we should have just enough to finish it. So there we are. I'm gonna slide, remember, this all the way back up to the top part. So it should look like that. See how everything's good and tight? And I have just enough cord over here to be able to pull on it and tighten this all together. You know, we pull the knots towards each other, right? We want them to be tight up against that overhand knot and towards each other, very tight. Okay. So now I can go ahead and finish the bottom part of my cross, which you should have plenty of cord to do. I've never run out of that cord before. If you do run out of cord at the bottom, it's because you did not start in the center of your rosary. Somehow you got off the center, okay? So remember, we slide this horizontal part as close to the bottom part of the top part of your cross, like that. And then we're going to make an 8 wrap here at the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to take my cord, go behind and underneath, just like every other barrel knot. And then when I slide this off, remember the first thing I'm going to do, I'm barely holding on to this. I'm just going to move it. Did you see how I did that? I just moved it. I didn't pull on the cord. I just moved those rows up. so it's up against that. Now I'm going to gently start to pull on the cord. Just gently. Very gently. Push from behind. Keep that up against that centerpiece. Coil, coil, coil. Pull on the cord. And when I pull on the cord, I'm always pushing from behind with my first finger and thumb. And I'm pulling underneath here with the cord behind it. I coil, pull on the cord and push from behind. Coil, pull on the cord and push from behind. It's just that's the trifecta. Trifecta. Coil, push from behind and pull on the cord. And you're just going to keep doing that until you get it good and tight, and you want to keep making sure it's always up against that overhand knot there in the center. That's how you keep everything tight. Okay. Just keep working it. And now once I get down further, I'm pulling with my left hand on the knot. So I'm behind the knot, I'm kind of pulling, and I'm pulling on the right cord at the same time to really get it towards the center and super tight. If your rows start to get, like part of them are sticking up, some are sticking up, remember you just twist your fingers across it, and it just makes that all lay down nice. Okay, just keep twisting across it, and it makes it all really nice and laid down. And then you're going to go back over all the sides. Remember, we pull the knots towards the center with our left hand, and we pull on the cord with our right. And we go all the way around. When you do the top part of the cross, remember, don't pull on these knots. Pull on the cord that's right above the top of the cross. And then just keep pulling everything into that center, that overhand knot, the very center. I like to think it's it's the heart of Jesus. So pulling it right into the heart of Jesus. Right? Right there. And that's how we get it to be all nice and tight. So there you go. We've got a good solid cross. See, it's not wiggling at all. It's good and firm and hard. You can hear it knock against the thing because it's very tight. So it's like a little log on all sides. And then at this point, you would go ahead and cut off these two sides because that part we cannot use. There's nothing we can do with those. So you cut them off and burn the sides, and then you would burn off the bottom because this part of the cord we could probably use for a pocket cross. And that's how you finish it. So now you know what to do if your cord for the horizontal part is a little small. In most cases, this should fix it. If it's too small that this won't even work, you definitely need to reevaluate how you made your rosary, and this would probably be just a rosary. Either you'd have to find another scrap that would work, or you would have to scratch this rosary, which is a shame. And then you could cut off the centerpiece and be able to use and undo all the knots, and then you can use it for pocket crosses. But yeah, it will not be a rosary. It'll have to just be used for other purposes. Okay, so that's why it's really important to be following your master and making sure that you have really tight knots so that you have enough cord to be able to finish your rosary. Because remember, we're trying to be good stewards of our money and be able to not have too much waste. It's pretty great to know that this is all that we're wasting out of 20 feet of cord. That's a great thought, and we're definitely being good stewards of our money. Okay, so I hope this helps with those type of situations. If I come up with any other tricks that might help, I will be sure to do those special videos, but hopefully this will help you out in the occasional jam that you might have a little short of a cord there. So happy rosary making, and God bless.